Hey guys, Crypto Sunday, and it's a slightly red week, down about just under 1%, £3,000, although it went much lower than that during the week. Still sort of fairly volatile. It's fairly spread across the board as well, just sort of choppy price action, but Bitcoin still sort of outperforming a lot of the altcoins. But yeah, let's have a look at some news. So just looking at the coin shares report, this is down a little bit worse than last week. These are going to continue getting worse because they're a little bit behind, and I'll come to sort of the more recent outflows in a minute. But just looking at the coin shares report because it shows sort of more than just the US ETFs. Obviously, you've got Grayscale still a fair outflow, small sort of inflows into the other ETFs, but this also gives you other coins as well. So yeah, 423 outflow for Bitcoin, 38 for outflow for Ethereum, but then inflows into all of the rest, which I thought was quite promising. Again, 6.9 million into this multi-asset fund. People do like that, although it's a tiny amount of assets under management. Just seems like people are constantly just adding to this, whether this is a sort of pension allocation or something, and people just constantly adding a small part of their paycheck. I don't know. But all good. Solana, 4.1 million, not too bad. Litecoin, 3.1 million. People still buying Litecoin. Short Bitcoin gaining again, and then small gains for XRP, Cardano, and Polkadot, and then 9 million for others. Not really sure what those others are. And looking at flows by country, still inflows into Brazil. I keep saying, and then outflows sort of pretty much everywhere else, except Switzerland. Small inflow into Switzerland, but yeah, this is going to get worse over the next week because certainly on the US side, we have seen sort of the worst of the outflows this week. You've had sort of small 100 million, 200 million outflows, sort of after we thought it may have been over. We sort of got 3 days of positive again, and then the outflow started again. But then on the 1st of May, Wednesday, we got the largest outflow to date. So the first outflow as well from BlackRock. Quite a large outflow from Fidelity as well. Fidelity had sort of been holding up relatively strong, having some small outflows, but yeah, they got 190 million in outflow. ARK as well. Not really surprising that ARK are sort of somewhat emotional investors. So some of those sold out, but outflow from every single one, which was sort of, yeah, a big 560 million outflow. But then on Friday, we got inflow into every single product again. Not quite as much as the outflows from Monday, but interestingly, inflow into Grayscale. So the launch of their cheap 0.15% ETF, I'm guessing, has caused them sort of more inflow into that than outflow from the large one. It's getting complicated with them, but yeah, maybe you'll see sort of less inflow into the other products and more into Grayscale now that they're the cheapest. Assuming that's the way it's working. Let me know if you know any more. But yeah, 378 million inflow on Friday as opposed to minus 560. So it's getting volatile. So we've had BlackRock's head of digital assets come out and say they see sovereign wealth funds and pensions coming to the Bitcoin ETFs. Presume obviously he's talking his own book somewhat. They want to see, more inflows, and saying that you've got more inflows coming is a good way of getting sort of people to front run it, I guess. But yeah, we all sort of said from the beginning of these ETFs, even before they were launched, that don't expect loads and loads right away because it would be a slow burn. Wall Street sort of money needs time to assess them and see if they're liquid and, work properly. And they may sort of get in after 2 or 3 months. And it's been sort of 4 months now. So, yeah, potentially you could be getting sort of more inflows from bigger money. It looks like while the ETFs have received a huge amount of inflows so far, more than a lot of people thought they would, it seems to be largely retail and just people that didn't want to buy crypto itself and store it themselves in self-custody. It's, if you can put it in sort of a 401k in America, or sort of just a brokerage account if you feel more comfortable with that, then yeah, that seems to be what they've done. And now you're potentially getting the sort of Wall Street money that a lot of people have been sort of hoping for. I think a lot of crypto native people and sort of maxis, don't want to be sort of seeing this money come in. I think you've just kind of got to accept that, if you want the price to rise at all, it can't just be totally off retail. That's inevitable, really. He did say, don't be fooled by the first break in inflows into the spot ETFs after 71 straight days of inflow for BlackRock. The current lull is likely to be followed by a new wave from a different type of investor. So, yeah, they just need time to assess them, as I say. I think a lot of people are having a bit of a bad take on this as well. The Hong Kong ETFs, sort of people calling it a failure, and sort of, the headlines like this, they're not enough to absorb US ETF selling pressure. I don't think that's the right way of thinking about it. We've seen a huge inflow into the US ETFs, and they're sort of taking profits, fair enough. But it just happens to be at the same time that the Hong Kong ones are launching, and the Hong Kong, you can see slightly more updated CoinShares report. We've seen 217 million into the Hong Kong ETFs for the week. So I thought that was pretty good, to be honest. People like Eric Balchunas and James Seyffert have been saying, from the beginning, the ETF market in Hong Kong is much smaller, and to not expect anything like the sort of, flows that we got from the US ones. So, saying 217 million is a really good number. I think that's sort of pushing more towards, forecasts are for 1% of the total ETF market in Hong Kong. So the US ones certainly don't have 1% of the US market. So yeah, they're doing what everyone sort of in the know thought they would do, and I think people just maybe had expectations beyond what they should have. So yeah, I thought the Hong Kong ETFs was a decent development, and you just have to look at as sort of separate timescales, really. The Hong Kong ones have launched now at the same time as the American ones are taking profit. So obviously that money isn't going into the Hong Kong ones, it's separate money. And yeah, you just have to think of some of these flows on their own timelines, really. Call me harsh as well, like with Craig Wright maybe, but I had to sort of look at this and chuckle a little bit. Roger Ver charged with tax fraud in sort of a joint operation, it seems, by the Spanish and US governments. US are sort of one of the only governments to sort of chase people for tax and, make people liable for tax wherever they live in the world. A lot of other countries you can sort of leave the country and that's it. But yeah, not in America. So he's allegedly concealed the sale of $240 million worth of Bitcoin, and yeah, that's caused a loss to the IRS of at least $48 million. And he wrote on X, "Don't expect bad people to do good things." So yeah, I mean, it's still tax evasion, whether you like it or not. Those are the laws. Don't see any way that you can sort of just say you should get around that. And yeah, a lot of people are sort of, hating on him because he's rich. I don't care that he's rich. Lots of people are rich. I sort of not hate on him, but just have a little chuckle because of the Bitcoin Cash fork still. So yeah, you can be rich. I don't care about that. But he personally sort of, I wouldn't say lost me some money because I didn't sell, but caused some great volatility around the Bitcoin Cash fork times in 2017, and nearly sort of, I wouldn't say killed Bitcoin, but nearly put an enormous spanner in the works to Bitcoin. Obviously, his Bitcoin Cash fork wasn't particularly successful. It still sort of top 20, I think, but isn't really doing anything and hasn't really sort of got a huge amount of traction. But he essentially set out to intentionally sort of destroy the Bitcoin network and move it all to Bitcoin Cash. So yeah, that is why I'm sort of less favourable of him, and I certainly don't call him Bitcoin Jesus anymore, as he sort of used to be in the olden days. Obviously, he was, a big help to the Bitcoin community in the early days, and sort of probably wouldn't be here. I wouldn't say wouldn't be here without him, but he certainly furthered the development. But yeah, then he took what I see as the wrong path. So you got to laugh when they get arrested. Not looked at DeFi Llama for a long while. You see sort of total value locked rising, of course. That's just mostly because of rising crypto prices. But looking at sort of Ethereum in Ethereum terms, that is on the rise, which is pretty good. Sort of, 32 million late last year to getting up to 42 million in Ethereum, 42 million Ethereum's worth of tokens locked up. Sort of even in the last month or so, it's up sort of 10%. So that's pretty good. Looking at some of the other chains, Solana doing pretty well. Again, sort of this drop and rise again is partly because of the Sol price, but looking at total volumes, still nowhere near the all-time high in Solana terms, but certainly on the rise. This is sort of due to various things, stable coins, sort of up to 3.2 billion now, and sort of various meme coins and all sorts. But yeah, sort of what were we at, 38 million sort of at the turn of the year, up to sort of the low 50s and up to 55.8 million as of yesterday. So pretty good. Just sort of looking at some other chains as well, other my holdings. Polygon sort of doing absolutely nothing. Even in Matic terms, it's sort of flat from the bear market lows, so that's not good at all. And I noticed they're not even putting Cardano up the top here. You have to sort of actually type it in, and last time I tried to look, it didn't even come up. But yeah, it's coming up now. Down in USD volume, and it's down in ADA volume. So it sort of reached a peak in the sort of mid 700 millions or 800 million just for a day or two at the turn of the year, and has sort of been slowly, very slowly dripping off really to 644 million. So that's not good at all. Never sort of seen Cardano as a particularly big DeFi coin, and yeah, they just don't move fast enough. Whether I should have sort of switched out some of that Cardano holding, I don't know, but I still sort of keep it there, for the potential that they are going to finally develop something. Ethereum hasn't really resumed its burning as well. Still sort of 11,000 increase in total Ethereum supply in the last week. Not good at all. 6,400 burnt, 17,600 issued. So not good. It's on sort of a very, very straight trajectory upwards. So obviously some burnt. It would have been steeper if there was no burning at all. But yeah, very, very sort of linear line upwards. It's sort of firmly on the uptrend at the moment. Again, we've seen longer uptrends than this before, and we got a huge down move after that. So maybe this is just sort of a lull in the bull market, and it could come back, or it could be people moving to the layer twos, base and Arbitrum and Optimism and the like. Have to see. On the sort of Ethereum Bitcoin ratio, this is still weighing on the price. So Ethereum Bitcoin is now down to 0.0489. It sort of has been slightly lower in the past, but not a huge amount lower. It's sort of at the January lows pretty much, aside from the small wick down, and sort of the mid-April sort of crash was a little bit lower, but that's about it. So yeah, I'm not particularly confident about making this sort of Bitcoin to Ethereum trade anymore, to be honest. It was all sort of partly based on this wedge pattern. I'm not really a technical analyst, but sort of think if yeah, Ethereum was sort of still doing the numbers, then it would start to outperform this bull market, and we're sort of getting quite a way into the bull market now. Sort of if you know think the bear market bottom was September October 2022 time. We're sort of over a year and a half since that, and it's pretty much just gone down. So yeah, I'm not really confident about making that trade, and I think I probably will just leave it all where it is. So the coins for the week is a bit of So the coins for the week is a bit of a mixed bag. It's sort of relatively steady. Bitcoin down 0.5%. Solana up 1.4%. Pretty good. Ethereum, as I say, underperforming 6.1% down for the week. Chainlink down 0.5%, same as Bitcoin. Cardano down 3.5%, not particularly good. XRP is up 1%. Gala down 6, Power Ledger down 7. Start to get into the smaller altcoins, not doing quite so well. Internet Computer down 5%, Matic down 2, Audius down 7% as well. Quant down 4.7, Basic Attention Token down 5, and VeChain, the worst of the week, down 8.6%. So not particularly good for the smaller altcoins, certainly. Larger ones sort of holding up not so bad, except Ethereum. But yeah, I think we're sort of starting to look at the end of the sort of little bear correction in a bull market. Some people sort of, obviously getting nervous when we're starting getting much below 60,000, sort of saying 50 is coming, lower is coming, and you get people like Peter Schiff who are just perma bears. But yeah, we have to see where we go from here. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and like and subscribe. See you soon.